We're going to the wide receiver position right here. We have Cedric Tillman. I don't like it. Versus Jameson Williams. Cedric Tillman's going against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday Night Football, and then the Lions have the Colts. We have too much of the same game, but it's okay.
Yeah, I realized this like this morning when I was making these. Like, oh, no, we just had their opposing quarterbacks. Now we have the wide receivers, so that's fun. But these guys are very close in the rankings this week, which is why they ended up on this list. They're right there in the 30s. I believe Tillman is sitting at, 25 and 26 respectively. So that's why they've made this. They're just outside wide receiver 2 range, but can they get into wide receiver 2 range for you to actually start them in a starting spot? Tillman going up against the Steelers obviously is going to be a tough matchup. The Steelers allow the 25th most points to the wide receiver position, whereas the Colts allow the 14th most. Now I'm going to just keep talking. So obviously Tillman had 3 really good weeks. They had a bye week. He cooled off against the Saints. The Saints, for some reason, did really, really well last week. So that's interesting. Jameson obviously missed a couple of weeks off of suspension. He came back and then he put up 22.6 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who is probably the worst team in the NFL. So is that a lot? Something to consider is that the Colts defense did not give up a lot to Aaron Rodgers last week. They did not give up a lot to Devontae Adams. They didn't give up a lot to Garrett Wilson last week. So that does play in their favor. They played against 2 elite wide receivers and only gave up 18 points to the 2 of them. They gave up most of their points to the ground game. I see the Colts-Lions game being more of a Gibbs-Montgomery game rather than a Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams game. I expect this to be on the ground more so than in the passing game. And if it's in the passing game, it's going to go to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't anticipate this being a really great matchup for Jameson Williams, and I'm going to lean towards Cedric Tillman here going against the Steelers on a Thursday night.
Man,
Are
I
you
do
taking
not want
Tillman
to.
also?
I don't want to match up with you, Tillman. To me, Tillman.
Talk yourself
He's.
into Jameson then.
I might. Tillman's averaging 10 targets a game since week 7. Like we always on this show, particular, I always will always pound the table for volume. Always volume, volume, volume. And then you're in a situation with Jameson Williams. He hasn't had 10 targets. He had 10 targets in the past 2 weeks, but he hasn't had 10 targets in a game since week 2, right? Against Tampa Bay, and that was a long, long time ago. Other than that, he's been getting targeted, I guess, 5 targets week 10. That's his most since this week 2 11 blow up. So that's just to me not enough opportunity. He had 6 targets last week, 4 catches, 1 touchdown, right? He blew up 22 points. That's great. That's what we want to see from Jameson Williams. I cannot talk myself into him though. I just cannot do it. It's not fathomable. It's not even, I'll have to start him if I have to, if I don't have Cedric Tillman on my team. But that's the situation over here with Tillman. He's going on Thursday night, which I hate Thursday night players. I bench Thursday night players for 2 reasons. One, I don't watch the games because they're god awful boring.
This one is boring. The last 2 weeks were really good. This one.
Yeah, listen, I'll miss some. I'll miss some bangers, but I'm okay missing the bangers if I miss the 8 other trash games. That's okay with me. I don't need to hear Kirk Herbstreit. That dude's a college guy. I don't need to hear him. Al Michaels is past his prime. Thursday night's a disaster. Like Thursday night is a complete S show. It is, and it's unwatchable at some points. I would much rather be watching Pokemon on Netflix with my son than Thursday Night Football. And if I've been saying this for years, by the way, this isn't something new. I've been saying this since the introduction. Too much is too much. Less is more. Bringing the games back to Sunday. Thursday night's a freaking disaster. Nobody cares about Thursday night games, period. That being said, I'm going to go Cedric Tillman. I have to. The targets are there. Believe in Jameis. WWJ. Wait. What do you give me that look for?
I was going to say something else, but you were about to say WWJD.
Yeah, what would Jameis do? Throw it to Cedric Tillman because he does it every single damn week. Again, I'm not going against Tillman. I'm not going against Jameis.
Yeah, you look at like the snap shares. Jameson Williams is the wide receiver 2 on the Lions, but he's not played 75% of the snaps since week 7. I mean, he was suspended 2 weeks and he's 74-65. Cedric Tillman is technically the wide receiver 3 on the Browns, and he's getting 82, 90, 96, 96% snap shares. They just
Yeah.
they game script more into the passing game because that's what they have with Jameis Winston. They don't run it with a Nick Chubb as much, which honestly is really sad. And the Lions have a way better running game and they just have a better offense. They're also not really on the field that much. If you really think about it, like last game against the Jaguars, they were on the field, what, 4, 5, 6 play drives and just scoring touchdowns left and right. So I don't anticipate it being that way. This is a Cedric Tillman show all day. You can look at the points last week, go, oh, 22.6 last week or 7.6 last week. I'm going to go with that guy that scored 7.6.
Yeah, 1000%.